It's time for Takes on Takes. You know the drill. You give us the takes. We give you a take on your take today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. This episode is brought to you by DoorDash. A few minutes ago, I placed my very own DoorDash order to get my favorite local meal from Smoke Pit here in Charlotte. Should be here before the show is over. So a big thank you to DoorDash for lunch. Place your order today using promo code LOCK23. Stay tuned later in the episode to hear more from our friends over at DoorDash.
Joe, the show correctly picked the New England Patriots to cover the spread last night.
They know.
They covered 6 points by 9. I guess 10 points is what they covered by, really, because they won the game.
My Patriots.
So you got to sit here and be loving this too, because obviously the Buffalo Bills are in the AFC wildcard race.
Heard about
Steelers' next 2 games. You know who they're in?
Who is it?
Colts and Bengals.
Somebody's
taking L's.
Somebody's taking L's, yeah, but it gets a little complicated because also somebody's taking dubs, right?
Right.
Need a bunch of losses. Can everybody lose?
It's like what you need is the cannibalization of all of those teams in the AFC conference from 6 through 10.
11.
And I think
the Bills are 11.
Right, but you don't want the Bills to be a part of the cannibalization. You just want them to win football games. So, Colts, Steelers, Bengals. I know the Bengals themselves are playing some meaningful football games. They play the Colts this week. They have the Steelers, of course. They have the Browns. So that AFC North, we called it the other week. The attrition there is going to be very real. And the question is whether the AFC South can boost themselves up off the backs of the Tennessee Titans and get 3 teams in or not.
All right, Kyle. Well, the good news is our takes to start. We got some Steelers stuff, some Patriots stuff to get into right off the bat. Let's start with this one.
Offensively bad football.
User bunch of numbers. We're leading off with that. The Tomlin era in Pittsburgh will come to a mutual end this offseason. Simply put, the last 5 years have not met the standard. Questionable coaching decisions and draft classes with Colbert have created a team with a limited ceiling and no clear pathway to becoming a serious contender. Tomlin could use a new environment to reinvent himself. A trade with Washington for multiple draft picks could be a win-win.
That's fun. Big splash for the Commanders with new ownership there. That'd be really fun.
Isn't he kind of from there, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah.
I have a quick question for you. I'm not sure. Not off the top of my head. He's went to William & Mary's from Hampton, Virginia. So there you go. The legendary status of Mike Tomlin is what as a head coach? Never what?
You're looking.
I'm
not sure what you're trying to prop. He's never had a losing season. 16 consecutive winning seasons. Yeah.
Or there was an 8-8 in there in 2019.
Yeah.
They said the last 5 years have been below the standard, right? Which is going back to that 8-8 season in 2019. Joe, how many seasons have the Steelers had a positive point differential in the last 5 years?
I know the last 3 they haven't, so maybe 1 or 2.
1. When they went 12-4 and started 11-0, and Chase Claypool tweeted losing, never heard of her, and then they proceeded to lose the rest of their football games that year. So, I think the concern is you look at Pittsburgh, and even when the start of this stretch, when they were bad offensively, they were still a top 5 statistical defense. Now, They're 21st in yards this year. They were 24th in 2021. They were 13th last year. They're still good from a scoring defense perspective, but their point differential the last 3 seasons has been 22nd, 24th, and 22nd. Their yardage difference has been 25th, 24th, 22nd. Or excuse me, has been 25th, 19th, and 26th. So the hard thing to struggle with here is Pittsburgh is notorious for continuity. Is this the straw that breaks the camel's back with a first-round quarterback that got hurt? I think you can certainly lay the blame at Tomlin's feet for keeping Matt Canada. I don't know.
This is where I go with it.
Off the rails.
Well, this is where I'm at with it. I think he's run his course in Pittsburgh. I certainly won a lot of games, had a lot of success, but I think he's run his course. They've missed the playoffs 4 of the last 6 years, 5 of the last 7 if they miss this year. They haven't won a playoff game since 2016. That's the 10th longest drought in the entire NFL right now when it comes to playoff wins. Their Super Bowl win was 2008, his second season. It's been a long time, right? They've settled into mediocre. Can he get them out of it? Maybe. But maybe the reality here is that it's best for both parties to go in a different direction. And I would support it. I would support it. I think you kind of watch this team and they feel overmatched a lot. I feel like their formula for winning is not necessarily something that leads to championships. And if they want to be the Iowa of the NFL, like, okay, go ahead and do that. But I'd want more if I was Pittsburgh.
I would take.
Yeah.
And it's not from a stylistic or how they play the game perspective. But if Pittsburgh moved on from Mike Tomlin, they would probably have the same pang of regret for an extended period of time that Philadelphia had when they moved on from Andy Reid.
How long was that? How long did they feel that, though? I mean, it seems like that got on the rails pretty quick. They went through Chip Kelly, and the next thing you know, it's Peterson and Sirianni, and they're back as a contender every year.
Andy coached the team from 1999 to 2012, and they went 10-6, 10-6, fired Chip, 7-9, 7-9. Doug Peterson in that magic season when they won the Super Bowl. So it was within 5 years that they won the Super Bowl. So I guess that's not the proper perspective. But then the way the Doug Peterson era ended kind of gives you a 10-year block where you had one big-time run, but then you see Andy go somewhere else and create something that's very formidable. I guess is the
did
part
Andy
of it
but did that happen, or did he get Patrick Mahomes? Did Mike Tomlin have Ben Roethlisberger and now he doesn't? How much of this is just quarterback driven? Bill Belichick, amazing with Tom Brady, crap without.
Okay, so then why are we laying the blame at Mike Tomlin's feet and saying that we need to move on from Mike Tomlin? If it's just okay, you guys need to go get a quarterback.
I think he's missed the last 3 attempts of finding a quarterback to replace Ben Roethlisberger.
Have they made 3? Have they?
Yeah, I would say
really made 3. They made 1. They made 1.
First,
Kenny Pickett,
right? A first-round investment in Kenny Pickett. They paid decent amount of money to Trubisky.
No, come on! It was like a 2-year, $15 million deal. That wasn't a serious
decent amount of money. Decent amount of money.
By the way, Trubisky was buns last night.
Right. Everybody thought he had 1 year as Josh
awful.
Allen's backup, and he figured the whole thing out. He didn't. We ran on the first play. I was like, all right, dude, just run the ball.
Awful.
Sometimes things have run their course, and you gotta switch it up. I think that Pittsburgh's destined for mediocrity in the AFC. They'd be right there, right? Just like they've been.
Okay. How's this? If Pittsburgh were willing to do what the Titans are doing with Mike Tomlin or with Mike Vrabel, would you still want Mike Tomlin to be there on the other side of the transition?
But don't you watch Pittsburgh and just feel like they're not a well-coached team? End of game decisions, game management.
Yeah, they get a bunch of bad attitudes.
Lack of aggression. Right, like you see that all the time.
They don't have a quarterback. They play like they don't have a quarterback.
I don't know if you want to win 8, 9, 10 games every year and not like have deep postseason runs. All right, keep doing this. But what's going to be different? Probably bigger than Mike Tomlin is getting a real quarterback.
Is this the argument for not trying to have sustained, like trying to minimize your cycles, your team life your team life cycles? Is it
maybe.
better to
I don't
have
know.
actual peaks and valleys to build up as compared to steady? Because how do you not have the same conversation about John Harbaugh at some stage?
I think that's different. I think Baltimore is more circumstantial
why is it
than it is. Man, they're in it every year. I bet you he's had more success than Tomlin. But again, he got Lamar Jackson. Tomlin has to find his next real quarterback. Same thing with Belichick. You got to find your next real quarterback. Tomlin was a much better coach when he had Ben Roethlisberger.
By the way, John Harbaugh, first 5 years as an NFL head coach, has 9 playoff wins since 13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not including this season. He has 2. So 9 playoff wins his first 5 seasons, 2 playoff wins in his last 10.
There's a sniff test. When I watch the Ravens, I don't feel like they're situationally a bad football team. When I watch Pittsburgh, I think they're situationally a bad football team. Okay. That's what it comes down to for me. We have so much more to get to here today. We want to go way long on that. I think they should move on from Tomlin. But what you should do is check out DoorDash. I'm obsessed, folks. The convenience of DoorDash is unmatched, especially in our busy lives, right? We're all trying to figure out when we're going to get to the grocery store, when we're going to make dinner, all that type of stuff. Well, DoorDash will bring you dinner right to your front door. They'll bring you groceries right to your front door. In fact, there it is. My smoke pit order. Here it is. Smoked sausage, barbecue slaw, and baked beans. That's what I love to get from my favorite local restaurant, which is Smoke Pit. They'll bring you food from all your favorite local restaurants, and it is just crazy, crazy convenient. What's better than time, right? That's what it saves you is time. That's what I love about DoorDash. Got a deal here for you. Get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. When you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCK23, subject to change, terms apply. Again, that's 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. When you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCK23, subject to change, terms apply. All right. Let's see if we can get on track.
What else
here.
do you have?
A lot.
We're on track. The whole point of the show is just chaos.
Yeah, but we have better chaos to get into. We spent a third of the show on the damn Steelers. Drew says, despite the Thursday night win, the Patriots will still end up with a top 3 pick, draft a quarterback, and that unlucky quarterback will have to deal with the Locked On NFL Scouting's 2024 worst-rated roster during his rookie year.
I like that we circled this back to the content that we create. It's a nice plus. So from a Tankathon perspective, it's been a while since I've visited Tankathon, which is kind of a rare experience to be in. I got bad news for you. If you're New England, you're only a game behind the Jets. And you play the Jets again.
You play them. You're going to beat them.
You beat them the first time.
Because you beat them the last 15 times.
I think you're going to be the third place team in the AFC East for starters.
Ooh.
At a minimum.
Ooh.
What game is the Jets going back to Zach Wilson at this stage? There are 5 remaining games. Are Houston this week. Don't feel great about it. At Miami. Don't feel great about it. Home against Washington on Christmas Eve. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
At Cleveland, at New England to close the season.
So the winner of that Patriots game gets third in the division.
Correct. I think so, because I don't think the Jets are gonna win another game. So then you have New England at 3-10, and this is just in the AFC East. They beat Pittsburgh. They got Kansas City, Denver, at Buffalo. They're not winning those 3.
Right, but all they have to do is beat the Jets, right?
The point is, I think they're both going to lose out until week 18. Then somebody's going to get a win, and I think it's going to be New England who's going to beat the Jets again. So you're already going to finish behind the Jets. Then you've got other teams in here, like if Washington wins against the Jets, then that means they're going to have 5 wins. So the New England would not pass them. Arizona's got San Francisco, Chicago on the road, Philadelphia, and Seattle, and they have 3 wins. Are they winning another game? I don't think New England makes the top 3. I think they're top 6. I don't think they make the top 3.
So I'll have to say that you disagree, that they're not going to have a top 3 pick, and so the rest of it's, are they going to have the worst rated roster going into next season? They got a chance.
I think they'll move and shake enough stuff around where they won't be the worst. I would take the field.
I don't think they'll be the worst.
There's some bad
I would take the field as well. Marv says the best course of action for the Patriots next season would be to trade Bill Belichick for a day 2 pick, hire an offensive-minded head coach a la Ben Johnson as their new head coach and offensive play caller, draft either Caleb Williams or Drake Maye if possible, and retain Mayo as the DC. Yeah, that's exactly what they should do if they could pull that off, right?
Why would Jerod Mayo stay?
Why wouldn't he?
For a new regime? Because he's probably going to be a coaching candidate. He's probably already been promised the Patriots.
Okay, but the best course, that's not what he said. They're not predicting it. He's saying the best course of action. Wouldn't you say that's the best course? Trade Belichick for picks, draft one of those top 2 quarterbacks, hire an offensive-minded head coach, and keep Jerod Mayo. That's the perfect scenario for the Patriots. I don't think it happens, but that's not what he's saying.
If you're not going to do the Patriot way, sell me on Jerod Mayo being the right keep at defensive coordinator then. Because it really does fly in the face of a lot of. I'm just trying to talk all the way through it. If you're going to bring in a new coach and you're going to totally flush the system, keep the one thing that's good. Keep the one thing that's good. Okay, we don't know how much of it is Jerod, and we don't know how much of it is Bill, and we also have seen with the trends of the game right now, when you go against top flight quarterbacks, do they struggle with this style of play that New England's putting out?
Defensively?
Yeah.
I think they've given some defenses.
Talk to me more about what Josh Allen does. Talk to me more about what Josh Allen does.
Beat him last time. What held Miami to the lowest points they've had all year? They just held Herbert to 6 points. What are you talking about?
Herbert's throwing to me and Keenan Allen. With Will Clapp starting on the offensive line. Come on, bro.
That's what you're hung up on, is Mayo as the DC?
I'm saying no. If you're going to change it,
I think
this
is clearly their best course of action, keeping that guy as the DC. Dolphins Craze says Dolphins and Bills fans should want Belichick and Saleh in the AFC East for as long as possible. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Keep those guys around forever. Sign them to lifetime deals, please, God. Kevin says 2-year everydayer. Well, he actually, to Dolphins Craze defense, he does say keep Joe Douglas as well. Kevin says 2-year everydayer, first-time taker. The Cleveland Browns have a top 10 trio of GM, head coach, and assistant on opposite side of the ball in Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, and Jim Schwartz. The Cleveland fans that want to fire this regime are insane. And a bonus food take, chicken wraps are far superior to a chicken sandwich. I agree with that. I like chicken wraps.
Let's start with that one. Because there's a lot to unpack in the other one that he gave us. Probably where we're not going to be able to confidently come to a conclusion. So let's start with chicken wraps. What kind of tortilla?
Better. Just a flour tortilla.
Do you like flour? Do you like the green like spinach ones or the red tomato basil ones?
Flour. Yeah, just flour.
Do you do any kind of sauce on your chicken wrap? Whether it's
my favorite thing is Italian dressing.
So a little
lettuce,
zesty.
Tomato, chicken, carrots, Italian dressing. Yep.
What's the cream with like the chives?
Ranch? Oh, no chives. Get the chives out.
What?
Chives
you thought I didn't know what ranch dressing was?
I don't know. You said creamy. It seemed pretty obvious. Like, Kyle, it's ranch, bro. Let's not overcomplicate it.
All right, we're moving on. I think there's a lot to like about the core and nucleus of the brain trust of Cleveland football operations.
Top 10, though?
See, this is where it's impossible to narrow the field that much.
Right. I don't know if I agree that Kevin Stefanski's a top 10 head coach. You could convince me on Schwartz for sure. I don't know. Barry, have we seen enough? Do we know? I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this. That's definitively a top 10 trio.
And that's why I didn't want to get it. I just wanted to glaze over and do the chicken wrap thing.
Yeah, I'm not in love with that take, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Thanks
All
for
right, we got a bunch more to get to here. Stick with us, but folks, you got to check out Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the funnest, most exciting, easiest way to play daily fantasy sports. The format is incredible. It's just you against the numbers. It's not you against thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. All you do is you select 2 or more players, you pick more or less than their projected stats, and you place your entry. That's it. Doesn't take long. Picks can be made in under a minute, and then when you win, the withdrawals are super, super quick. One of my favorite things about Prize Picks is that you can cross-pollinate between sports. So you can have some football over-under or more or lesses that you like. There's projected stats you might like in basketball, hockey. You can lump it all together to make an entry. So check it out. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Hit me.
I'm excited for this next one because we've heard from some Bucs fans that we're not happy that we didn't classify Kalijah Cansey in our rookie roster reclass this week.
Okay.
So we'll get another chance. We'll get another chance here to either disappoint them or make them happy. Here's the take from Tyson. I've done the research on this one, so this is the one I'm really ready for. Mike Evans should make the Hall of Fame after clinching his 10th 1,000 receiving yard season in a row, but due to his lack of monster years and no all-pro seasons, balloters will fade this take. So here's the information that people need to know. He's 30 years old. He turns 31 in August. He's 35th all-time right now in receiving yards for the NFL with 11,437 yards. He's 13th all-time in receiving touchdowns with 91. Now, keeping in mind, there's only 10 players ever to have more than 100 receiving touchdowns. If he has 1,000 more yards, he goes to 23rd all-time, 2,000 more, 17th all-time, 3,000 more, 10th all-time, and 4,000 more, 4th all-time. I don't think right now he's a definitive Hall of Famer, but his career's not over. I think if he has a couple more seasons of I'm not even asking for 1,000 yards. I think he's going to certainly have a really strong case despite not having any all-pros.
I think he's got a very strong case. I think the challenge is the backlog at wide receiver. Of course, I don't think that will preclude him from getting in, but you're seeing really, really, really dominant wide receivers from 15, 20 years ago who are not first, second, or third ballot Hall of Famers. Like, do you think about are we waiting on Torrey Holt still?
Oh, he's in.
He just went in?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Who else are we waiting for from that era? There's Steve Smith's not in, right?
Nope.
And I think Steve Smith from
Andre Johnson.
That's
probably the big one to bring up. He's not in yet. I mean, right now, Evans is 11,437. Mushin Muhammad, Derek Mason, and Brandon Marshall all have more than him. Here's what I think it comes down to. Mike Evans needs 2,000 more yards and 10 touchdowns for the rest of his career. If he gets that, he's 91. If he gets 10 more touchdowns, he's top 10 all time, and he'll be top 20 in receiving yards with 2,000 more receiving yards and 10 more touchdowns. But he's not a first ballot. He won't be a first ballot guy. I love the consistency.
And that's tough because even Steve Smith is 5-time Pro Bowler and 2-time first-team All-Pro. And he's got almost 15,000 yards and 81 touchdowns.
Right.
So wide receiver.
His career is also over.
Correct. So the book's not closed on Mike, but I think, as you said, he's got to continue to pour gasoline on the fire here and really get after it.
Yeah. Viper says the Bears would be better off trading out of drafting a top quarterback and picking up picks and drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. and a tackle to help the next guy rather than put the next guy in the same crap situation as Fields.
We do this every year, right? Are you ready to draft a quarterback or not? I feel like Chicago's in a better place to draft a quarterback now than what they were when they drafted Justin Fields offensively.
Mm-hmm.
From a personnel standpoint.
The challenge is
who are you going to trust to make that pick? And if it's the staff that's in place, now you got a short leash, and that's putting them back in the exact same position that Justin Fields was in when somebody was drafting him to try to save their job.
I think you can have your cake and eat it too if you're the Bears. I think at number 1 you can draft Caleb Williams. With whatever pick you wind up having, you can get a top offensive tackle. And then with your pick that you would get back for Justin Fields, you can, and you have extra day 2 capital, you can get a good receiver. Like, I think you can have your cake and eat it too, but I would want to reset at quarterback, both the money and not that Justin Fields is older, but like just the opportunity, right? I'd want a fresh guy in there that's on a rookie deal, and I'd want that to be Caleb Williams. So I still think you can kind of check all these boxes. And give yourself even more and reset the money at quarterback. I think that's the best plan for Chicago. Tell says the Lions are more likely to get in a tiebreaker situation with the Packers for the NFC North than they are to become the number 1 seed. And a bonus take, which I love. Christmas with the Cranks is a top 3 Christmas movie, blends lighthearted comedy perfectly with what Christmas is supposed to mean to people. I think that's a slam dunk take. Big Christmas with the Cranks.
Sell me on the give me the Spark Notes version of the script elevator pitch on Christmas with the Cranks. As somebody who doesn't even know who's in it. Yeah,
Tim Allen, Christmas movie. His daughter goes to the Peace Corps, and that's a little bit depressing to him and his wife. So they decide to cancel Christmas and go on a cruise instead. And they have deep roots in their community, and so like everyone's like obsessed that they cancel Christmas. They won't exchange gifts, all the things that they normally do. It's kind of about how they work through that. And then, of course, where it gets to at the end with how that is. It's super good, man. I'm telling you. I don't know if that really sold you on it or not, but it's funny. It's lighthearted. And I think it really captures the spirit of Christmas. Watch it with your wife, man. She'll be happy.
very, you just left it very open-ended.
I'm not going to tell you what happens. Just watch it with your wife. I promise you she'll be happy you did that.
Okay.
But the Lions more likely to, I would agree with this take, wouldn't you? I don't think they're getting either thing, but
probably. I'm probably inclined to agree. I don't feel particularly strong, though, if I'm being honest.
You think they're more likely to have the 1 seed tiebreaker situation than they are to in the Packers in the North?
I don't feel particularly strong either way.
Well, okay.
Detroit's got to work through some stuff.
Right, but I think they're more likely to – they have more pressure from the Packers, and they're going to be able to put pressure on the 49ers or Eagles. That's the spirit of what they're getting at to, and I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Sure.
All right. We got some interesting things here. Michael, the playoff committee made the right decision to leave FSU out of the playoffs. It sucks for FSU, but with Travis being out, the committee got the correct combination of best and deserving teams.
I am omitting from all verbal confirmation because I do not want to upset anybody from diehard college football.
Yeah, they can be upset with me. I'm happy that Florida State's not in it. And let's keep the Florida State stuff rolling here. Greg, the best thing Johnny Wilson can do for his career is add weight and move to tight end before the draft. He would be a top tight end in the league, but a bottom receiver as far as production goes.
I don't know about top tight end, but
he got a little aggressive there.
He needs to play tight end, period. He needs to play tight end.
Yeah, it seems like the right thing to do. And I've only loosely watched him, so.
I have a little something for you, Joe. Didn't tell you I did this. I picked all the games.
For the rest of the season?
Seeds.
Oh, this is very unsurprising. All right, this is it. You want to give us your predictions for the rest of the season?
Well, it's just what I picked right now. If we'll play them all and see what happens, right? And I know that's you don't want to hear.
Always got to.
That.
Yeah,
but
no, I do want to. I
have I'll do my AFC and NFC playoff seedings as things currently are picked.
Wow, big doozy of a take here to close us. Yeah.
The first seed in the NFC is the Philadelphia Eagles, who finished the season 15-2. The number 2 seed is the San Francisco 49ers.
Wait. The Eagles are 15-2. Yes. So you have them winning out.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. The number 2 seed is the 14-3 San Francisco 49ers. The 3 seed is the 12-5 Detroit Lions. The 4 seed is the 8-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So you have them winning that division. I think that's the hottest take so far.
It is a 3-way tie at 8-9. between the Bucs, the Falcons, and the Saints, but the Bucs would win courtesy of a 5-1 divisional record. Their reward for finishing 8-9 for the second consecutive season is once again hosting the Dallas Cowboys in the wildcard round of the playoffs, Dallas finishing 12-5. The Green Bay Packers, where did I miss a game for the Packers? How is that possible? Are the 6th seed at 11-6. They finish a game behind the Detroit Lions. The NFC North. I think they stay hot. And the 7th seed is the 9-8 Minnesota Vikings.
9-8.
Teams.
Is there any 9-win teams
just on the outside? Teams just on the outside looking in include the 9-8 LA Rams and the 9-8 Seattle Seahawks.
Wow. The NFC North boxes out the NFC West.
On the AFC side of things,
3 North teams. Incredible.
The 1 seed is the 12-5 Kansas City Chiefs. The 2 seed is the 12.
Wait, you have them losing. You have them losing one more game
to Buffalo.
Okay. So the AFC continues to run through Kansas City.
Unfortunately, yes. The 2 seed is the 12-5 Baltimore Ravens. The 3 seed is the 12-5 Miami Dolphins. The 4 seed is the 11-6 Jacksonville Jaguars, who are hosting the 10-7 Indianapolis Colts.
Oh man,
the Miami Dolphins
get 3 more, huh? Oh man.
The Miami Dolphins is the 3 seed, are hosting the 6 seed, the 10-7 Cleveland Browns, and the Baltimore Ravens are hosting the 10-7 Denver Broncos with the 10-7 Buffalo Bills and the 10-7 Houston Texans on the outside looking in.
Man, you got them all to 10, huh? Interesting.
It's how we picked them. We'll play them all. See what happens. But
I'll take the field, Kyle. I think your result will not be what actually
any other combination.
I'm going with a different combination there. Yeah. I think you got a couple things wrong there.
Yeah, the chaos down the stretch is going to be fun for the NFC South, for the AFC playoff race. I guess for the 7 seed, I think Green Bay's probably in Dallas or penciled in as wildcard teams, assuming Dallas doesn't go on and beat Philadelphia this weekend. But yeah, 9-8, 9-8, 9-8, and then you have 2 NFC South teams at 8-9 as well. So
who's got the number 1 pick?
The Chicago Bears, courtesy of the Carolina Panthers.
So what's the top 5 draft order?
It is the Chicago Bears, courtesy of the Carolina Panthers. It is the Arizona Cardinals at 3-14. It is the New York Jets at 4-13. The New York Giants at 4-13. The New England Patriots at 4-13.
Man, you know what's funny about the Jets? We're not talking about them picking that high, but they should pick a quarterback.
They should.
Right? What are they going to pick, like Joe Alt instead? Oh man,
trade down and trade for Devontae Adams.
Bro, can't.
Send a couple of those extra picks over for Bakhtiari while you're at it. That's it. That's gonna do it for us. Do you want to give me your knee-jerk conference round off of that, or divisional round off of that? San Francisco hosting Minnesota.
San Francisco.
Detroit hosting Green Bay. Dallas at Tampa Bay.
Dallas.
Okay, so you'd have Dallas at San Francisco, and then you would have Green Bay at Philadelphia. Filling in the blanks.
I'm not sure. I feel Detroit, they're going to lose again to Green Bay at home. I don't think so. I think Detroit wins.
Baltimore hosting Denver.
Baltimore.
Miami hosting Cleveland.
Miami.
Jacksonville hosting Indianapolis.
Jacksonville, I guess.
All right, so you'd have Kansas City hosting Jacksonville, and you'd have Baltimore hosting Miami in the divisional round.
Who won the Baltimore-Miami game the first time?
I gave it to Baltimore.
Ooh. Flip a coin, man.
Come on back. See us after week 14, 2023 NFL season. That's going to do it for us. You can find us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We appreciate you guys for checking out the show. We're getting near the end, but all off season long, we'll also have you covered just through a little bit of a different lens. So make sure you take the ride along with us all year long. We appreciate you guys checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day, and we are out of here.